2018 BMW M5 car review. It's tempting to characterize the original flagship cars, the large, top-of-the-line sedans like BMW's 7 Series and Mercedes-Benz's S-Class, as the greatest embodiment of name values. But at Bayerisch Motor Werke, that mantle rests around the M5 and also the M3. For the better component of 30 years, these sports sedan prophets have squashed the nice word through light-footed athleticism, steering feedback, and soulful engines. More recently, though, they have walked far from BMW dogma, the modern versions being more aloof, less feeling speed machines. The nice points of 2018 BMW M5. M rediscovers handling religion, righteous power. The bad points of 2018 BMW M5. Blasphemous not enough manual transmission, gluttonous size. The sixth coming from the M5, internally called F90, is BMW's latest interpretation of the company's own Holy Creed and also a reminder that, on this automotive era of rapid evolution, absolutely nothing is sacred. This 600-horsepower sledgehammer could be the first M car furnished with all-wheel drive excepting the X5M and X6M SUVs. It's also the primary M5 that won't be offered using a manual transmission. We muttered a couple of profanities the first time we watched those information regarding the drivetrain. Then we actually drove the 2018 BMW M5, and hallelujahs spilled from your lips. You'll saw on the steering wheel because you balanced the M5 at its cornering limits and also the rear end wriggles under hard straight-line braking. Trail brake it toward the apex, balance the car for the throttle, tighten your line by lifting. This is engaged driving. And fun. Those attributes were largely absent on the stoic F10 generation M5. While it's not just a return to full form, the brand new M5 is really a solid step toward redeeming that last generation car, which placed third outside of 3 to use only comparisonist appearance. The electronically controlled clutch pack technically could send equal degrees of torque towards the front and rear axles, but an M engineer told us the computers never issue this kind of command. They always favor the spine wheels, and that is evident within the overtly rear-wheel drive nature in the M5's dynamics. In its 4WD Sport setting while using stability control in M dynamic mode, the M5 pivots neatly under power on corner exit. In every way, it feels as though a well-balanced rear-drive car, more than the outgoing M5, which happens to be rear-wheel drive. This new M5 may be rear-wheel drive, too, although you should fully disable the steadiness control. Simply uses access that setting from the iDrive system. BMW calls it 2WD mode, but it really just as accurately can have called it drift mode, as Mercedes-AMG does together with the E63S. Holy horsepower. The new M5's engine won't tie your ankle tendons towards the throttle plate of an 500 horsepower V10 since the E60 M5 did several years ago. Nor does it worm its way into your psyche inside the same way because free-breathing 4.9-liter V8 on the E39 generation car. We're rapidly moving clear of the era when factory hot rods are produced using a warehouse's valuation on special hardware. The turbochargers and transmissions that grease fuel economy tests for volume models are exactly the same building blocks for modern performance cars. The M5 is among more than 10 current BMW models built around a twin-turbo 4.4-liter V8, an 8-speed automatic transmission, as well as a rear-biased all-wheel drive system. There's also the 456-horsepower M550iX drive that BMW sells at an excess of $30,000 discount for the M5. Admittedly, the M5's engine incorporates a long list of hardware changes in the M550i's version and possesses an entirely different engine code. An evolution on the S63T0 that powered the outgoing car, the brand new M5's power plant wears new turbochargers making 24.5 pounds per square inch of boost up from 21.8 inside old M5, and it also sprays fuel in the cylinders at higher pressures. Its 600 horsepower can be an increase of 40 in the outgoing car, while peak torque rises from 502 to 553 lb-ft. That may not sound that impressive inside an era in the event it takes 700 horsepower to truly raise eyebrows. Even so, the M5 launches down a highway on-ramp with all the authority and unrelenting thrust of your Saturn V rocket. It should clip 60 miles per hour in 3.1 seconds. The engine broadcasts a far more complex and slightly hollow thunder that sounds more convincing versus the bassy monotone from the last car. A pair of butterfly valves inside exhaust modulate a bad, yet once you deactivate the exhaust sport mode, the audible sensation is one kind of wires being yanked from a couple of low-fidelity speakers. BMW developed the manual transmission from the outgoing F10 generation M5 for the US market, simply to see lower than 5% of buyers choose it. So while we'll lament the decline of another save the manuals evangelist, the stick shift is unlikely to be missed through the bulk of individuals who will actually plunk down $103,595. Plus about $1,700 gas gutter tax, on this 5 Series. And even we didn't think the manual was excellent. In place from the outgoing M5 7-speed dual-clutch automatic, the revolutionary car uses an 8-speed automatic which is technically flawless. It shifts so rapidly with regards to mask any momentary, infinitesimal torque reduction and picks the correct ratio on the right time. Exorcised. In 2018, the VIN M car stems besides from what's added to your donor model and also from what's removed. In the case of this M5, that makes a much purer sports sedan much better M's founding beliefs. There is no planetary gear set that varies the steering ratio with vehicle speed, no active anti-roll bars, no rear wheel steering. Those heavy-handed chassis technologies react on the road, therefore, the driver doesn't ought to, and as a result they overmanage the 5 Series into an indifferent and inert car. Instead, the M5 works on the simpler variable ratio steering rack that's common inside the luxurious powered sedan segment, backed with well-weighted power assist. The Active M electronically controlled limited-slip rear differential helped the optional 20-inch Pirelli P0 tires on our car light out torque that has a sense of control. Electronically adjustable dampers offer 3 settings, but we never found great reason to leave the softest comfort setting for too long. BMW claims this new M5 is lighter than last year's model, an amazing feat with the triply-digit weight penalty on the all-wheel drive system. The savings originated from a lighter body shell which has a standard carbon fiber roof and relentless care about detail over the rest with the car. Optional carbon ceramic brakes helps you to save an additional 51 pounds and must be considered a mandatory upgrade on any 1C the track within this 4350-pounder. The brake pedal quickly went soft during our day lapping Portugal's old Formula 1 circuit, although our braking points within the track remained fairly consistent. Finding the faith. M engineers, needless to say, must work with all the base car they're given, so they're powerless to accomplish anything around the current 5 Series long and wide body. Inside the well-trimmed cabin, driver and passenger sit far enough apart how they might as well have marriage counseling. At least that leaves adequate real estate investment for the sundry buttons to fiddle with all the throttle calibration, transmission shift speed, steering weight, damper stiffness, and exhaust mode. The 2018 BMW M5's born-again chassis dynamics advise that the M division is turning back toward its faith in driver engagement. But M is, in the end, a subordinate organization in the bigger enterprise, and, so, the division's complete redemption is merely possible should the larger BMW brand can buy the same religion and infuse it into the core products.